All right, folks, I'm here with a bit of a rant today. So, Big Pokemon just released the Play Pokemon Video Game Championships Tournament Handbook for VGC. There's a few things I want to go over it, so I glossed over most of it. But there are a few points I want to talk about here. Just to rant, just to bitch and moan, I guess. So to start, when it comes to VGC's transition to Pokemon Champions, online competitions, all online competitions after the release of Pokemon Champions will be conducted using Pokemon Champions as the official competitive title. We already know the Indianapolis Regional, that's going to be like the first big major, I guess, for Pokemon Champions. There's probably going to be like a couple European ones or so here and there. And then NAIC, we already know. And then Worlds is the big one, obviously. But here we go for championship level competitions. Like I said, regional, special events, worlds, international. It's going to be champions. But local level competitions, here's the thing. Local level competitions, all VGC Cups and challenges for the remainder of the 2026 season. So up until about like June, July. Well, I guess more June because July is when they're going to have their off season until worlds. And then after worlds, September is when they got the new season. So remainder of the season will be conducted in Pokemon Scarlet Violet. We've been on this game for like 4 years now. It will be a very long time until we actually get into Champions, and everyone's gonna be playing Champions. Like Champions comes out as of recording in less than 2 weeks. It comes out the 8th of April, so about 10 days, right? And the silly part about this is that like when you're doing cups and challenges for like 3 months, no one's gonna really want to be playing that because everyone's gonna want to be playing Champions. We already got a global challenge announced for it that you can sign up for in April, and then it starts beginning of May, I think. All right, and here's the next little tidbit that really grinds my gears. So when it comes to internet and connectivity for Pokemon Champions, right? It says this method consists of competitors connecting and playing over the internet via a network provided by the organizer, right? Now, when it comes to organizer, that doesn't just mean like a store hosting a VGC event. It means the tournament organizer. So the TO, the judge, whoever is setting it up. Usually it is the store owner, but it could be different in some circumstances. And then this part, this is the only method available for this title. So competitions conducted using Pokemon Champions require a stable internet connection, meaning there's probably not going to be any local connections available, which is pretty freaking stupid if you ask me, considering every Pokemon game we've played on before this has had local connection, which I get it. We're not going to have it, specifically probably because there's going to be phones, and phones, you got to be connected to data or Wi-Fi or whatever. But the problem with this is that since they changed the rules last year where it hurt the VGC scene a lot, where you need a card store, specifically a store, to host the events, and a lot of them who are hosting Play Pokemon events are card stores. So if they're already hosting, Pokemon card games and like One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, whatever have you, they're probably not going to want to do video games and have Wi-Fi connection and have about a dozen, people playing Pokemon on their internet because, that's going to be a pain, right? So that kind of sucks. And it's just really frustrating that these small little changes that they've added kind of add up to like, oh, if you want to do a local VGC thing, good luck. And it's like, come on now. Like even here in the Buffalo area, one store that I'm aware of does VGC events. Well, they did, and then they stopped for a little while because nobody was showing up because they want to wait for Champions to comes out, which, I get it. It makes perfect sense. But with Champions coming out, they're going to start it literally the week that Champions comes out. Cool, whatever. They got the space for it. I'm sure they have the Wi-Fi for it. But when it comes to like smaller local areas or even like bigger areas, when it comes to it, it's like a lot of card stores don't want to do it because it's a thing I've seen online. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of card stores don't want to do VGC because it doesn't bring them any money. You get a TCG game coming in, people come in, they buy the product. That store is making money because of it. Pokemon don't send stores any sort of materials or any sort of merchandise that a store can sell outside of like maybe playmats for cups and cups rather. But outside of that, you really get nothing. The stores don't get anything out of it other than the love of the game, which I get it. Stores are business. They want to make money. I completely understand. It's not a knock on the stores. It's really on Pokemon. It's really on Pokemon there. And it's very frustrating when it comes down to it is that when it comes to like a local VGC scene, obviously TCG, it's a lot easier to get into because VG, when you break it down, you got to get the Switch, which even on the lower end, that's still like $100-$150, and that's assuming that like Champions isn't going to eventually move over to Switch 2, which I don't imagine it will if you can do phone, Switch 1, whatever have you. So even if you get like the Switch Lite model, right, it's like $100-$150. Then before Champions, you had to get the game and the DLC, which that was like another $90 to $100, and then that doesn't include the time that it takes to play the game. You know, you got to actually play through the game. Now with Champions, you know, they got a battle pass. They got, you know, a way to get easier access to items and stuff, which, I mean, I guess if you got to grind it a little bit, which is a free-to-play game, they got to make money. I get it. Pokemon's a business at the end of the day. But when it comes down to it, they made it so easily accessible. That's what they're trying to do with Champions, right? Maybe things change. Maybe I'm wrong. They make the game easy to play, but they make it harder to get into the competitive scene, which that's kind of an oxymoron, you know? It's like out of the frying pan straight into the furnace sort of situation, you know? Take, for example, this tweet here I found. Someone said, when I ask local stores to let me run VG events, the answer is always, we're a card shop. Why should we host a video game tournament? Having to beg for locals is demeaning. The internet thing isn't going to help. Please free us from the league system that was clearly made for TCG. And then in responses, my local game store owner says he doesn't want to do VGC events because he doesn't want people to think that the store does video game products. Which at the end of the day, it makes perfect sense. Because really, when you really think about it, right? Here, I'm going to get up close personal. When you really think about it, when it comes to VGC, that it's really like you don't need to be in a space. You know, you can play online. That's the whole bit. Makes a lot of sense, right? You just do online competitions, Pokemon doesn't. But when you want to, like, chase for points, you know, I think VGC does Ace Trainer status now. And, like, those cards go for a pretty penny for a lot of collectors, you know. Somebody making it, you know, they could recoup some of their money, their travel costs. It is what it is. But it's just so silly, right? It's so silly, so frustrating, especially living in an area, in the Buffalo area, where I've asked, you know, the store that is doing VGC now to do it, and then they started doing it, and then they didn't get enough people out. I mean, I couldn't make it because of work, but, you know, now they're going to be doing it on the weekends. It's going to be nice. I know out in Rochester they have a spot or two that does it. I remember going out to a TCG Cup over there, and they had the VG Cup at the same time. There was like about 6 to 8 people, which, I mean, not terrible, but at least they had something. At least they had something. And when it comes to, like, VG, the only reason I even started to pick up the TCG is because nowhere around me at the time did VGC stuff. And the reason I'm even doing TCG as much as I do is because there's nowhere to play VG. And mostly because I'm bored of Scarlet Violet and waiting for Champions, but that's a whole other thing entirely. I mean, Jesus Christ, I hit freaking Ace Trainer, bro. I locked in for TCG for 3 months. Here, I'm putting my my play Pokemon page on the screen. I hit Ace Trainer. I got over 200 points. That was just between like 3 cup wins, top 4 showing, and then like 20 points from Toronto, and then like a challenge or 2. Just from that. Imagine what I could do if I got to play the game I really wanted to. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? But it's just sad that, like, community of online Pokemon events have to be the thing. I mean, when you have Scraw VGC, set up a tournament for a game on Limitless that's not even out yet, getting 6,500 people, 6,500 freaking people signing up for a game that isn't even out yet because they want to play. The demand is there. There's just no incentive, and that's the sad part here. That is so disappointing to see. I mean, it's a $10,000 prize pool, but when people first started signing up, it was only about $2,500. It's a free tournament, yada, 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 whatever. But, I mean, still, people want to play Pokemon. People want to learn how to play Pokemon. There's just no reason why there's so many steps and gates and obstacles in place for, you know, you can't just, like, sign up and be like, hey, I want to run it out of, like, my local, like, college library or even just your local library. Who knows? Got good internet. It's free access too. It's a public space. It's good to have. Support your local libraries. And it's just sad that when it comes down to, oh, you got to run it at a card store because it's a play Pokemon event, it's mainly designed for TCG. But like VG, that's their big flagship. I mean, if you watch any sort of international event, Worlds, a regional, VG always gets more viewership. It always does because it's easier to watch than TCG. You know, you don't have to know how to play Pokemon VGC to watch the game and be like, oh my God, Incineroar just did 68% damage with knockoff critical hit. That's crazy. As opposed to the TCG, like you got to know the meta, you got to know the cards. And when it comes to Pokemon Go, I mean, I guess that would be easier to follow, but not as many people play that competitively. And then there's Pokemon Unite, but that's the whole nother story. I don't follow Pokemon Unite at all, and I watch the streams. But even at the ICs and Worlds, the VGC is the last one to go, you know? I'm not going to disrespect TCG or Go or anything else, but, you know, save the best for last. You know, it's the big thing. It's the big selling point. And that's what's so silly about it. They have so many opportunities. They have so many chances to just make it easy. Be like, oh, yeah, you know, you want to set it up at this place or whatever? Yeah, you know, an organizer can do it at a library or a local college or university, like FGCs, fighting games, you know? I mean, those are really for the love of the game. There's no, like, not really like a circuit like Pokemon does officially for a lot of them. But, you know, it's something. It's a start. And it's just very frustrating. And, you know, I read these new rules, and I'm hoping something changes. And, yeah, that's just me ranting. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hydrate. Have a good day.